abs are made in the kitchen. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You need to do 10,000 steps every day. You've got to do 3 sets of 10. You've got to drink 2 litres of water every day or 8 glasses of water. You need to have a base aerobic fitness before you can start sprinting. So you've got to start as a beginner and then you can start going hard. You need to wait forever and ever to get results from your exercise program. That seems to be absolutely ridiculous to me. I'm giving you a whole heap of things that we seem to believe. We've been told by school teachers, by social media, by the news, by magazines, by doctors, by medical professionals that these are the things that you need to do for your body if you want to be healthy, fit and strong, or if you want to be happy. Here's a great question though. What if they're wrong? What if it's 9,000 steps, not 10,000? How did they choose 2 litres or 8 glasses? What size glasses, I always ask. What if I'm taller and bigger? What if I sweat more and I live in a hot place? What if I'm really small and I sit on my backside all day? Do I still need 2 litres of water every day? Is breakfast the most important meal of the day? What if I'm an international airline pilot or if I'm a shift worker? When is breakfast? Is it 3 sets of 10 and why? Have you ever asked why did somebody pick 3 sets of 10? Why is it not 4 of 12? Why is it not 7 sets of 5? Can your muscles count? Zero-based thinking is a really great philosophy when it comes to business. So whatever business you're in or whatever career you're in, whatever you're doing to make money, the question is always asked, if you were to start this again, if you were to pick your career path again, if you were to start your business again, what would you do differently? Well, when it comes to health and fitness, when it comes to your energy, the way you look in the mirror, and I always ask those 4 questions, I bang on about them every day. Do you have a stack of energy? Are you performing at your best? Do you love what you see in the mirror? Do you love the way your body feels to touch? And are you getting the results that you want from your eating and exercise plan? Are you mentally tough and strong? Are you physically tough and strong? Can you do all the things that you want to do? I think those questions, deserve an answer, but whatever you do in your life, shouldn't they be the outcome? So whatever you eat and however you exercise, shouldn't you be able to demand, I feel fantastic, I look fantastic, I've got a stack of energy, I can go and do all the things that I want to do. So if your answer is not that, I'm eating and exercising a certain way, but I don't have a stack of energy, I don't perform at my best, I don't like what I see in the mirror, I don't love the way my body feels to touch, I'm not getting the results that I want, should it be, or could you, or would it be a great idea to rethink what you think is true? Doesn't matter how good an exercise program proclaims to be, if it's not giving you those things, surely there's something wrong with it. And if there was an exercise program and an eating plan that gave you all of those things, would you do it? So here's a great question. What if? What if everything you believe up or have believed up until now is either incorrect or not completely true, or there's a better way? What if? What if you didn't have to exercise for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes or an hour? What if breakfast is not the most important meal of the day? What if 3 sets of 10 is a waste of time way to exercise? What if you could sprint for 10 seconds and never have to do long, boring, slow exercise to get the best results possible? What if you didn't need to count calories, count water, count fat grams, test your macronutrient percentages every day? What if you could live your life in a way that those things that I think are a pain in the backside, but that's just my personal opinion, but what if you didn't have to do them? What if there was a simple, easy, common sense, logical way to get healthy, fit and strong that's completely different to what you believe up until now? Now, I'm not here, I never preach, I never give advice, I never say you should or you shouldn't. I always ask the questions, and that's why I'm asking you to do the same thing. Because as an exercise professional, one of the things that I did completely and totally wrong, and one of the biggest regrets of my life, I have very few regrets, but my major professional regret is when I came into the exercise profession, I was so amazed by the amazing people who had lots and lots of university degrees and I didn't have one, so I felt that I wasn't as important as them. There were people who owned gyms or multiple chains of gyms and they'd been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and I thought they must know because they're very successful and financially successful. There were people that had 100 people in their exercise class. I thought they must know. There were people who were multimillionaires from being in the exercise profession, so I believed what they said. There were doctors and physiotherapists and chiropractors and so-called experts that I looked at them and said, well, I'm just a teenager, what do I know? So I listened to and believed what people told me. Now, there's a lot of challenges with what I just said to you. First of all, do experts disagree? Of course. Do they totally, completely contradict each other? Yes. Has there been information? I've been doing this for well over 40 years. Does information change? Are some things different or the same than they used to be? Have we made mistakes with the way we've got people healthy, fit and strong? And there's a very simple answer to that one. The world is fatter and sicker and weaker, more diseased and more depressed than it's ever been. So whatever we've been doing hasn't worked, because look what's happened to the world. So as an adult, but certainly as an exercise professional, as any kind of medical professional, shouldn't we be asking more questions rather than just listening to and believing the so-called experts? So what puts you in a position to be able to do that? And this is all I'm ever asking. Why don't we ask the question, why would I do that and how does it work? And if I want the answer, rather than listening to the research or the experts or the scientists or the psychologists or the medical professionals, why not learn how your own human body works? If you were going to go on a holiday in a motorhome and you're going to live in that motorhome for a year or 2 years, you'd probably do a little bit of research on how a motorhome works, so that if anything ever happens to the gas stove or the shower or the toilet or the engine, you know who to call or what to do, or the questions to ask if something went wrong. So you're going to live in something for a couple of years. You live in this body, this beautiful body of yours. It's the only one you've got. You have to live in it for your whole life. I've lived in mine a very long time. And when I listened to the so-called experts, I screwed up my body. Now, they didn't screw up my body. I listened to their silly advice, took the advice, applied it, and screwed up my body. Every joint in my body's busted and broken. I did some long, boring, stupid exercise programs. I ate some ridiculous diet, or ate in a ridiculous way because of some stupid diet. I've done some really crazy things in my life because I didn't learn how my human body works. If you're going to build a house, if you're going to buy a house, wouldn't you like to learn how the toilet flushes, or how the air conditioning system works, or how the garage door works, so that if something happens with that house, you ought to be able to call the right person and ask the right questions, rather than just expect that the expert knows. And I'm using that as an example because too many times in our home, the plumber and another plumber have given me different advice. The landscape earth mover digger has given me a different advice to another one. One electrician's given me different advice to another one. One builder's given me different advice to another one. How do I know who to believe when I'm building a house? I have to do my own research. So again, I'm in my begging position because I really, as an exercise professional for over 40 years, all I've ever wanted is for the world to be healthy, fit, strong, energetic, lean, healthy, love their life. And the world is fatter and sicker and more depressed and more diseased than it's ever been. So whatever we're doing, I'm going to say it again, whatever I did didn't work, whatever everybody else has been doing hasn't worked. So what do we need to do differently? And that's all I'm asking. Why would you believe somebody that tells you it's 10,000 steps? Why is it 10,000? And when you follow it, because I've followed the research, because I've listened to everybody say 10,000, and when you work out why they came up with 10,000, it's absolutely hilarious. Why is it 2 litres or 8 glasses? It doesn't make any common sense whatsoever. And when you look at the research of that and the actual study that was done on that, it doesn't make any sense at all. 3 sets of 10 doesn't make any sense because your muscles, your bones, your endocrine system, your central nervous system can't count and they're blind. So your muscles don't know what you're lifting. They certainly don't know how many to do because they can't count. So why do we believe 3 sets of 10? There are so many things that we've put into our life that don't make any sense, but we just believe people because they're the expert. And there's a really interesting study that's been done, and I just get embarrassed when I've watched the study now several times. You can watch it on YouTube if you want to. A group of scientists pulled in some people off the street and said, we're going to give you a free lunch or a free coffee or whatever it was. We just want to study what a teacher does versus what a student does. They put the student on one side of a wall, they put the teacher on one side of the wall, and the teacher had to ask the student questions, but the teacher couldn't see the student. But every time the student got an answer wrong, they had to give them an electric shock. The teacher had to give the student an electric shock. Now, the real challenge with this is that at 240 volts, you'll die. 100% of the people that did that were involved in that study that were the teacher. They were told by somebody in a white coat wearing a stethoscope who they thought was a scientist that they needed to be zapping the person on the other side of the wall because they got the answer wrong. And every single one of the people that were involved in that study killed the person on the other side. Now, of course, they didn't. The study was to find out how far a human would go. And even the psychologists that planned the study thought that 1% of people would take somebody to the point where they would zap them past 240 volts. Everybody did, because they had an expert over their shoulder. And when they could hear the person on the other side screaming, being zapped, they would look at the expert and say, should I keep doing it? And the expert would say, yes, you have to do this. It's part of the study. If the person gets the answer wrong, you have to zap them. And everybody went to the point of past 240 volts. So everybody was involved in murdering the person on the other side. Now, you can follow up on that study yourself. All I'm pointing out is this. Experts can be wrong. Why do we believe somebody because they've got a university degree, or they're wearing a white coat, or they're wearing a stethoscope, or they've got 30 years experience, or they've told us how awesome they are, or they've got 500,000 followers on YouTube or more? I'm a human being who lives in my body, and I want to be healthy, fit and strong. How about you? I refuse now, as an old lady, I'm never going, I don't believe anything anymore. And that's just me being an old lady who's lived my life a very long time. I don't believe any expert. I don't believe any medical professional. I don't believe any scientist. I don't believe any research study, because everything has an opposite and opposing side. Every expert has somebody that will disagree. Every scientific study has a scientific study that will disagree. Every opinion has an opposing opinion. Everything. There are very few things that are facts. So if you want to live your life to the max, if you want to be healthy, fit and strong, if you don't want to be sick and fat and diseased and depressed, and you're sick and tired of all the rubbish that's been thrown at you and you don't know what to believe, why not learn for yourself? And that's such a beautiful, peaceful place for me to be. If I don't know something, I go and study how does that work in the human body. Not somebody's opinion, not a research study, just the simple, because one of the things about particularly anatomy, physiology, there's some argument. But anatomy, there's no argument. We don't have 4 patellas, we only have 2. We only have 1 heart, not 7. We don't have 17 shoulders, we only have 2. Anatomy is a pretty much set science. So when you study it and you learn it, you can now analyze and research for yourself. Is that exercise program going to work? Is it going to work? Is it safe? Is it effective? We've heard that a lot, haven't we? Safe and effective. Well, let's work out for ourselves, not listen to some person in a white coat or some government official or somebody standing up in front of a microphone saying, you should eat this, do that, exercise this way, wear this, change this, because I said so. My question is always this: what if they're wrong? What if I'm wrong? What if everything I've believed up until now is wrong? And that's why I'm constantly learning and constantly asking the questions. Why would I do this? How does it work? Is it logical? Does it make sense? And even if you believe something to be true, whatever it is, are you healthy, fit and strong? Do you have a stack of energy? Do you perform at your best? Do you love what you see in the mirror? Do you love the way your body feels to touch? Are you getting the results that you want? And if the answer is no, it doesn't matter what expert told you to do that, it obviously isn't working. So could it be time for a change? Could it be time to think for yourself so that you can actually live your life to the max? Woohoo!